Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and £1,000 up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Light the candle, Tiger!
Hi there, welcome along to the Racing Post Golf Postcast. Bruce Millington, Steve Palmer and Paddy Power's Ian McLaughlin. 3 great tournaments to look ahead to this week. The Australian Open, the RSM Classic, and we've got the big one in Dubai. It's the DP World Tour Championship. The boys have continued their red-hot tipping form last week, so let's hope they can keep the run going. Before we look ahead, let's look back. Steve, you did it again, mate. Lee Westwood put him up as a great tip last week, and also Oosthuizen, who, despite playing the last in a fairly eccentric fashion, got the full place return as well. Well done. How much did you win, Steve?
It took home about 14 grand profit in the end. The return on Monday morning was £35,000, but that was only 14 grand profit. So that sort of shows you how stuck in I got anti-posted in running. Yeah. I did have some more in running bets despite my plans not to. But yeah, it all went very well, and delighted for Lee John Westwood. I mean, very emotional victory after. Did you see the interview afterwards?
Oh, it was lovely. Yeah, I welled up a little bit watching because he
did. Yeah,
he doesn't normally sort of let his mask slip.
No,
like
it was a big
surprise,
wasn't it? The work-soppy wonder we were calling him afterwards, wasn't he? But yeah, I always sort of think that it means more to punters than the golfers, because they're multi-millionaires. I think for a punter it means more, but that shows how much it meant to Lee John Westwood to get back in the winners' enclosure.
It was really nice, wasn't it? And 14 grand, Steve, you sound almost blasé about it. Is that still giving you a warm glow? I mean, are you cock a hoop?
Well, it's funny, isn't it? It shows how greedy I'm becoming, because I was fuming afterwards.
Not again.
Because Louis Oosthuizen was worth 20 grand more. So, when it turned into it looked like a duel between Oosthuizen and Westwood at one stage, and I was hoping Oosthuizen would win. There's a 20 grand difference, and as it turned out, it was a good job that the workshop did the business, because, as you say, Oosthuizen made a Horlicks at the final hole. I mean, he could have murdered someone with that second shot on the 18th.
I thought Riley was absolutely brilliant on the fairways. First of all, with that ridiculous drop by Dylan Fratelli. Did you see that? Did you see that, Ian?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
It's absolutely grotesque. Now, you could argue that it's the rules official shouldn't have been such a sap as to let him drop it, but I thought Shane Lowry was brilliant there. He said, "There's no way that's a drop, but if you want to do it, it's up to you." My admiration for Shane Lowry soared.
Yeah, I've seen Phil Mickelson has behaved like that in the past. I've seen him bend the rules to the point of, I think, cheating, and that's the second worst example of that I've seen. I mean, Dylan Fratelli was pretending he was going to aim a different way, and then that was sickening.
So Riley called him out on that, but then Riley's commentary, he said everyone around this ball of Oosthuizen's, they need to wear crash helmets, because if this hits that path, it could kill someone. And sure enough, he takes a swish, it smashes, and then everyone's looking around, half expecting to see someone with blood pouring out of their ear.
It was a horror story. It was an absolute horror story. No, Riley's always spot on. He's the best commentator they've got. But I was really concerned there, because if Oosthuizen had killed someone, they might have abandoned the tournament or something.
You could have lost your place part of your bets. Never mind the poor person being carried off to hospital.
No, that was an exciting tournament. But once Oosthuizen slotted into third place after the final hole, then obviously I was thrilled for the workshop wonder. But Mike Ober, not so bad. I mean, Richie Rowensky finished third, and Ian had a couple up there as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah. So, Ian, let's pay homage to you, because I think you didn't put many up for this one, but you got JJ Spawn full place 66 to 1, Bryce Garnett full place 175 to 1, and Steve got full place Richie Wierenski 200 to 1. So, I mean, I know everyone gets the glory for the wins, but I mean, these are as good as big price wins in their own right, aren't they? Well played, lads. Ian, you must have been pleased with that, but slightly frustrated.
Yeah, I was. It's like when Spawn got to within 2, Kuchar were 4 to play, and Kuchar was starting to leak a lot of oil. He missed 2 very short ones on a par 3 on the 15th, another one on the 16th. I thought we're going to get him here. Like, Spawn was starting to play really well, kind of going for the win. Garnett I was worried that he was starting to leak a bit of oil himself in terms of falling out of the places, but he had excellent up and down the last to fill the full place payout. So yeah, I was delighted with the week. My aim for the month was to get everything that I spent in Edinburgh, and the week after that, it was a very expensive month, and I almost got it all back last week, so I'm delighted with that. So
well done. And what an amazing coincidence, Steve, that both Kuchar and Westwood won on the same day, having both last one, I'm not explaining this very well, but both of their last tournament wins were on exactly the same day in 2014. Did you know that?
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, 4.5.
Incredible, eh? What are the chances?
Years, no, it's just the Lord playing his little silly games, isn't it?
Anything to take out apart from the obvious results? Anyone impress you away from the tips, Steve?
Well, I think Ross Fisher was the man to take from the Nedbank. I mean, he dropped 8 shots in 4 holes at the end of round 2. Took a 9 at a par 4. So you just presume he's destroyed from there. But he had a little chat with his sports psychologist, and over the weekend was fantastic. Only Lee Westwood outscored him over the weekend. He finished 4th. So that was a really impressive comeback. So I think Ross Fisher is one to keep an eye on for the future. And then in the Maya Cobra, I mean, Cameron Champ's got no right to be contending El Camaleon. I mean, yeah, that's a tight, fiddly track, plodder's paradise, and there was Champ right in the mix on Sunday night. I mean, it seems like even on unsuitable tracks, Champ's going to find a way to score well. So, yeah, the potential for Cameron Champ is enormous.
Okay, and Ian, anything went into your notebook?
I was going to say Fisher, yeah, for the backup that he had on Friday afternoon, going bogey, 9, double bogey in 3 holes. Like that would curtail anyone's week. And he, as Steve said, Jesus showed some magnitude to come back to finish 4th. And again, Champ was another one. We all were negative towards him last week going into the course. It shouldn't suit him. It's tight. It's not going to suit a bomber. And he, as Steve said, he was up there challenging the whole way till probably the 16th hole of the tournament. So yeah, when he comes into the courses that are really, really going to suit him, I think he's almost auto bet play at this stage.
Okay, let's do our first tournament in just a mo.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and a grand up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Be the right club today!
Right then, the climax to the race to Dubai takes place in, obviously, Dubai at the Earth Course. It's the DP World Tour Championship, and before the boys tell us who they fancy, Ian's going to give us Paddy Power's latest betting.
Yes, so 6 places this week in Dubai. Rory McIlroy heads are betting at 8-1. Sergio Garcia next in at 10-1. John Ram 11-1. Xander Schauffele 14-1. Tommy Fleetwood 14-1. Tyrrell Hatton 14-1 and 16-1 bar.
Just quickly, lads, before you name your selections, I didn't actually court any questions from people on Twitter today, but Brian Leask said, "Morning, Bruce. If there's a Q&A with Steve and Ian today, I'd be interested in their thoughts on Rose's decision not to play this week and the news that McIlroy may only play in Europe next year a few times. More Rolex events, but do they work?" Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that Rose is not there, but he can't win the race to Dubai. Mathematically impossible. I suppose that's not enough interest for him to come over there. I mean, the race to Dubai, it lacks the same drama that the FedEx Cup has, doesn't it? The FedEx Cup always goes to the final event, so maybe the European Tour need to address that and make sure we have a fitting finale. As for Rory McIlroy, I mean, he is just obsessed with the majors, isn't he? None of the other events get him going anymore. He's clearly just going to build his schedule around doing whatever he thinks will make him peak for the majors. So, playing in Europe doesn't help you win majors, in fairness. It's only those 2 events prior to the Open, the Irish Open and the Scottish Open, which are played on links courses. They help you get ready for the Open Championship, but the others, they don't. So, he's off to America full time, it seems.
Okay, we could talk all day, but I'm sure the listeners are itching for some tips after you boys have been helping them win so much money in recent weeks. So, Steve, take it away with your main tip in Dubai this week.
Main tip in Dubai is John Rahm. I think John Rahm will keep his 100% record up on this track. I mean, he made his debut last year, it was a steady start. He was settling in to new surroundings, and then he produced a 12 under par weekend to surge through the field. So I think with a little bit more experience now and make a quicker start, I think he'd be banging contention throughout. Rahm played his college golf in Arizona. He still lives in Phoenix, so desert golf is second nature to him. He won his second US Tour title, the Career Builder Challenge in the Californian desert. He's got everything you need to destroy the Earth Course. And I think confidence has never been a problem for John Rahm. I mean, he's cocksure from day one, but I think he's gone up a level now. I think beating Tiger Woods in the Ryder Cup singles, I think that meant an awful lot to him. I think Rahm saw it as sort of the old master passing on the baton to the new one. And I think he's going to go from strength to strength.
You worried about his temperament, Steve? He does boil over sometimes, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, he says that's what makes him tick. I don't think he's going to change, but this is a straightforward course. He's not going to have many setbacks on the Earth course. He loves coming over to Europe. It's usually this is a good event, but it's usually a downgrade from the US Tour. And he's made 8 previous starts in regulation European Tour events, and he's won 3 of them. And he's only finished outside the top 10 twice. His form figures from his last 4 regulation European Tour starts are 1-1-5-4. So I think he comes over here with a real swagger. He thinks European Tour event, I'm going to piss this, and every chance.
Blimey. Okay, Ian, before you give us your top tip, just remind us what this track, what kind of test this is and who it suits.
This is going to suit the power players, as you'll see from my 2 tips here. It's a very open course. It's very long. It's somewhat similar to what they play in the Dubai Desert Classic, although they narrow the rough. They bring in the rough to narrow the fairway somewhat each year. There, this is just open plan almost. Hit it as hard as you can, hit it as far as you can. Good iron play, big enough greens. Need to be able to put well on them. It suits a kind of an all-round game. Who
are you going for then, mate?
Thomas Pieters. We touted him for the Turkish Airlines Open a couple of weeks back in the podcast. He opened with a lacklustre 75 before going 14 under par for the following 3 rounds, including a lowest tournament round of 62 on day 3. Ended up 18th that week, following an 18th place finish at the HSBC Champions. Pieters enjoys desert golf, 3 top 5s and 4 appearances in Abu Dhabi, evidence of this. As I said, the Earth course suits power players, and there are not many players longer than Pieters. I feel he just needs a solid week in the greens to contend, and also keep his mind on the job as well. This is a big occasion, and Pieters usually rises to them. I think prices of 50-1 look value to me this week.
Okay, Steve, who else are you tipping?
Next best is Thorbjorn Olson, another for whom the Ryder Cup debut was a big confidence booster. He thrashed Jordan Spieth in the singles. Olson loves Dubai. It's his winter practice base. He says it's his favourite city on the circuit. His record on the Middle East swing of the European Tour is magnificent. And they go there at the start of the year, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Dubai Desert Classic. He's a regular contender there. I can see him improving on a steady but unspectacular Earth course record. He's never really got deep in the mix, but he's never done much wrong there. He's never teed up there higher in the world rankings, and he's just finished 7th in the HSBC and the Turkish Airlines Open. So I think Olson's a surefire contender.
Okay, and who else?
And then 3 more. I'm really trying to overwhelm this tournament. I want 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're keeping faith with Martin Keimer. I'm certain he's getting his act together. He made an awful start last week in the Ned Bank. He shot a 76. Playing with your mate Sam Horsfield, I don't think that helped him. He may be frustrated during that 76, but he fought back well, finished 21st. He was 5th in Turkey the week before. He's a 3-time Abu Dhabi champion, a proven desert rat. So, I think Keimer's going to be in the mix. And Thomas Pieters has got my backing as well. As Ian says, he often goes from the ridiculous to the sublime, but so much talent. It's going to happen soon. He opened with a 75 in Turkey, but he shot a 3rd round 62. Clearly got the talent to win this event. And the final one, Ross Fisher, as discussed, brilliant comeback in the Ned back. How he finished 4th from there is an incredible effort. 7 under par weekend, and I think he's got the tools to do plenty of damage at the Earth course.
Okay, so Steve's swamping the tournament with 5 selections. Ian, who else are you putting up as well as Thomas Pieters?
Yeah, I'm just going for the forecast this week, and it's Dean Burmaster, power player who should be suited to the characteristics that the Earth course possesses. Evidence of this is in a 4th-place finish on debut last year. Was having a patchy season on the European Tour, but looks to be coming back into form. 11th in the Ned Bank last week, perked up my interest, showing that the potential for him to finish the season with a bang and maybe get his hands on this trophy. Prices of 100-1 out there look very, very fair, and he'll dovetail Pieters for me this week.
Steve, I see Burmaster got a little mention in the old others to note section.
Yeah. I think he's a threat. I love the confidence we got at the moment. Ian's just going for the dual forecast. I'm being a bit more ambitious with the quint cast. Is it even got a name if you get first 5?
A Quinella, I think it is.
A Quinella?
Yeah.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Well, let's go for the Quinella then.
I'm not sure if anyone's pricing up the Quinella, but
Quinellas.
Okay, let's talk about the other market leaders who we haven't mentioned. Rory, Garcia, Fleetwood and Schauffele and Hatton. There's some good names here. Steve, out of that lot, which are the ones that you think may toil and who might be a big threat to your Quinella?
I think they'll all toil. I don't think the Quinella can be beaten. I mean, Rory's got a fantastic record in this course and a fantastic record in Dubai, but I just don't know whether you can trust him at the moment. Something doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem seems a bit lackluster at the moment. And his comments this week about not really showing much interest in the European Tour next year. They don't help confidence in Rory. But I'm going for the Quinella, and I'm going to celebrate with a a nice bit of Nutella on Sunday.
Yeah.
I like Nutella, don't you?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, we could do a remix of Umbrella. I'm feeling coming on by Rihanna here. Quinella, Ella, or something like that.
I'm already working on it. Yeah, I like it.
Okay, good. Right. Anything else from you, Ian, on the DP before we move across to America?
No, I'm happy enough with the 2 bets that I've outlined. So.
Okay, RSM Classic next.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and £1,000 up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Oh, baby.
Okay, welcome back. Before we preview the RSM Classic in America, I would just like to say a very happy birthday and get well soon to the legendary golf tipster Jeremy Chapman, who is 77 today. He's not been well lately, but Jay, keep fighting, and we hope to see you back spitting out all those great winners in the Racing and Football Outlook very soon, my friend. We're all thinking of you. Okay, Steve, Sea Island, a beautiful spot which I was lucky enough to visit a few years ago. It's Davis Love's, he's the king of Sea Island, isn't he? And we've got the RSM Classic. What sort of test is this, Steve?
Well, you've got 2 courses. You've got the Seaside course and you've got the Plantation course. They're both just over 7,000 yards. You play 3 rounds at the Seaside course and then 1 at the Plantation course. The Plantation came in 2015. It used to just be the Seaside course. Seaside course, tight, fiddly links, typically breezy. It's the tougher of the 2 tracks. And then the Plantation is a very straightforward parkland layout. It's got a 4 par 5. So you've really got to score low at the parkland if you're going to win. You probably need to be about 16 under par for 72 holes if you're going to have any chance of victory on Sunday.
Okay, and Ian, how did Paddy Power bet?
Yes, 8 places this week at the RSM. Webb Simpson heads are betting at 9-1. Cameron Champ is next in at 18-1. CT Pan 20-1. JJ Spawn 22-1. Joaquin Neiman 25-1. Austin Cook 25-1 and 30-1 bar.
And Ian, how many tips have you got on this one, Ian?
I have 3.
3. Let's get your main one now.
Yeah, main one is CT Pan. Pan, a former world amateur #1, is really starting to cement himself as a top-level player in the PGA Tour. His late-season form last year was second at the Wyndham Championship. This was followed by a 4th-place finish at the Dell Technologies Championship. His 2018-19 PGA Tour season has started on an upward curve. His last 4 form figures are 30, 23, 22 and 16. He's had 2 appearances at the RSM Classic, 6th in 2016, was followed by a 13th last year. Obviously a very strong affiliation with the course. And looking through the early stats in the year, he should be suited to the test again. At 25-1 out there, he was my idea, the most likely winner this week.
Who's your idea of the most likely winner, Steve?
Well, my idea of the next best is CT Pan. We might as well get CT Pan out of the way. I mean, Paddy Power opened up top price this week, so Ian McLaughlin probably got absolutely destroyed by punters. Yeah, CT Pan, former world #1 amateur. Playing rock solid golf, and this is the perfect event for him. He finished 6th and 13th in the previous 2, so I think CT Pan's going to finish 2nd, and I think Webb Simpson will justify favouritism.
Boring.
Yeah, I know. I've got a few short ones in the staking plan this week, but I just play the cards as I see them. Play the cards as I see them, and I don't think there's any point trying to be clever. I mean, Simpson's just got no chinks in his armour. He's going to be extremely tough to beat. The Seaside course is perfect for his style of play. He's got a great record there, and confidence is at an all-time high for Webb Simpson. He won the Players' Championship by half the track in May. A fantastic Ryder Cup. I think it's a really significant Ryder Cup for Webb Simpson, because in his previous Ryder Cup he had a bit of a mare in 2014 at Glen Eagles. He had a terrible opening tee shot that went spooned up in the air. It hit driver about 100 yards. 4 years later, going into that, he would have been very nervous. He made 2 points from 3 matches, despite being lumbered with Bubba Watson in the foursomes. And then on the Sunday singles, he thrashed Justin Rose. So Webb Simpson had a fantastic Ryder Cup on a losing team, confidence all-time high, and I think he's highly motivated for this. I know it's not a prestigious event, but 12 months ago, Simpson had to withdraw at the halfway stage of this event when he was in contention. He was in 12th place going into the weekend, had a good chance of getting right in the mix. And unfortunately, his father's health deteriorated during the event, so Webb withdrew to be by his father's deathbed. And
so he could be very motivated for this.
Well, I think he'd love to win and dedicate the victory to his father. I mean, he loved his father. His father helped him become a pro golfer, and I think there's a little extra layer of motivation that's perhaps not factored into the prices this week. He's got course form, current form, and highly motivated. So I think Simpson is impossible to get away from. I don't like tipping favourites, but I think it's impossible to get away from.
No one scoffs at a 10-1 winner, Steve. And
Well,
who's
this
your
is
third selection, me old mucker?
Yeah, 3 against the field. Austin Cook, the defending champion. I actually like the defending champions in all 3 events this week. I think they've all got a chance of retaining their titles. Cook didn't just win last year, won by 4 shots on his course debut. I mean, this layout is clearly made for his talents. He's an accurate, unflashy operator. The Seaside course in particular is perfect for him. And he had a decent second half to last season. He was 6th in the St Jude, 5th in the Greenbrier, 28th in our Open Championship. That's an impressive effort. And he was 13th more recently in the Sim Classic. So, I expect a stout defence from Austin Cook.
OK, and Ian, as well as CT Pan, who do you like?
Yeah, I have 2 more. Next best is Kramer Hickok.
Pardon? Who?
Yeah, so he's not a porn star or anything. Yeah.
I literally don't know what you said. I heard cream cock or something.
Kramer Hickok. Hickok. So phonetically, it's got a. Phonetically,
Hickok. Okay,
well, you got the hiccups.
So he's starting to fulfill his potential that saw him star in the same University of Texas team as Jordan Spieth. Himself and Spieth were roommates after college also, so getting tips and being so close to the great man himself would only help Hickok in his progression. He was the Mackenzie Tour Order of Merit winner in 2017. That's the Canadian version of the PGA Tour. He took the upgrade to the web.com in his stride, finishing 23rd on the money list and securing full playing rights for this 2018-19 PGA Tour season. That web.com Tour season included a win and 4 top 10 finishes. I think this week is the start of a very impressive rookie season and feel prices of 80-1 look a good each way investment. And the outside the field is Kelly Craft. He finished 38 at the Mayakoba last week. He had been putting himself in position for a very high finish, but a final round 73 scuppered this. I think this is good news for us though, as we're getting a nice price this week. He ranks quite highly in the ball striking stats early this season. A decent week in the greens, I think he goes well. He's an excellent wind player who plays well on seaside courses. His best finishes in the PGA Tour have come on these sort of layouts. He was 2nd to Jordan Spieth at Pebble Beach in 2017. He was 3rd in the Dominican Republic last year and 8th at the Honda Classic last year. Prices of 100-1 out there make him an each way play for me this week.
Marvellous, thank you, lads. Let's go to Australia next.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and $1,000 up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Be the right club today!
Welcome back, Bruce Millington, Steve Palmer, Paddy Powers, Ian McLaughlin. We are looking ahead to our 3rd tournament of the week, the Australian Open down in Sydney. Steve, when do we need to get our bets on by? That's the first thing we need to know.
You need to be very quick off the blocks. By 8 p.m. tonight. I think last orders will be 8 p.m. tonight.
8 p.m. Wednesday. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you for that. So we mustn't mess around, particularly if we want to do combination doubles and trebles. And I think, Steve, you may be advocating one such bet later. But first, we'll get the latest betting from Paddy Power on the Australian Open.
6 places at the Aussie Open this week. Cameron Smith's heads are betting at 7-1. Keegan Bradley next in at 8-1. Matt Kuchar 9-1. Brandt Snedeker 11-1. Ben Young-An 14-1. Abraham Answer 18-1. Cameron Davis 18-1 and 25-1 bar.
Oh, go on then, Steve, Mr. Boring. Who are you tipping here?
Well, he's vying for favouritism with Matt Kuchar. I think Cameron Smith is far and away the most likely winner. I mean, Kuchar's got to be knackered. I mean, it was a draining week for him at the Mayakoba, emotional victory. Then a 24-hour journey to Sydney from Mexico. It's not exactly down the road. So I think Kuchar is way too short, and I think Cameron Smith it was way too big. I mean, he's been over there fresh as a daisy, getting his game ready for this. This is his National Open. It means an awful lot to him. He's desperate to win this one. I mean, he's got eyes on being Australia's #1 golfer, and I think he's got the potential to be that. He won the Australian PGA Championship last year. He's won a pairs event on the US Tour. He's been peppering the winners' enclosure as an individual on the US Tour. And this course, the Lakes, it's not staged a tour event since the 2012 Australian Open. And in that tournament, Smith teed up as a 19-year-old amateur. Played hardly any events, any big-time events, and he finished 14th. I mean, that is seriously eye-catching form, given how much better a player he is 6 years on. 6 years on, he's finished top 5 in a couple of majors. He's the world number 33, and this track suits him down to the ground. So I'll be shocked if Cameron Smith is not in the mix on Sunday. He's my #1 choice. And then I've got 2 more to
Go on then.
What's the word you always use?
Augment.
Augment. I always associate that with breast enhancements and the like. But got 2 more to augment. And Cameron Davis, again, defending champions. I'm obsessed with the defending champions this week. You could have a defending champions treble if you so fancy. I haven't had that one. I'd be kicking myself if it comes in. But Cameron Davis is on home turf this week. He's a New South Wales boy. I think he'll finish runner-up to Cameron Smith. I think it'll be a Cameron 1-2. Another dual forecast for you. And then my biggest price fancy of the week is another local lad, Harrison Endicott. I really like the look of this player. He seems to be blessed with bundles of natural self-belief. I mean, he's cocksure to an extreme extent. And his home club is just up the road, half-hour drive up the road. So he's got plenty of course knowledge. I think Harrison Endicott could hit the ground running and surprise a few people. Okay,
was Terry Pilkadaris close to the shortlist?
He wasn't. I had a very, very short shortlist this week. And Cameron Smith is worthy of a big chunk.
Lovely. And Ian, how many are on your radar for the Australian?
It's a very short list. It's one tip, and it's Abraham Answer. 21st last week at the Mayakoba. I know Steve was tipping up for that last week. Was in position to mount the title challenge going into Sunday. I don't think he held one putt on way to a final round 71. His ball striking was at a very high level, and it's still at present. It's first time in Australia, a little bit of a concern, but he's bar Kuchar, probably arguably one of the best form players in the field. This is not a very, very deep event in terms of talent. I think 20-1 looks a solid bet, and he'd be my only bet at the tournament.
Okay. Any combination bets this week? Are you going to go for it, Steve, with the Rahm, Smith and Simpson treble?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I think that each way treble is there to be had.
What does that roughly pay? So it's 10-1, 12-1, 8-1. So
well, say for example you had £400 each way on it. That would return $500,000.
Well, there you go. If anyone's got a spare 800 quid in their back pocket, that's the way to do it, isn't it?
And then if you're just going to have a double, if you're going to be boring and just have the double, then I think maybe Rahm. Well, I've done Rahm and Simpson. I mean, I'll probably be kicking myself when Rahm and Smith win. I don't know. I think Simpson and Smith's probably the most likely double.
I might do an each-way Trixie, I think.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Okay, excellent stuff.
And then we need to find someone to do the Quinella. I mean, Paddy Power got the balls to price up the Quinella.
That's probably the daftest idea since. I remember you once demanded that they offered correct frame score betting in snooker. Do you remember? You said 71-37 would be the favourite at about 80-1.
Why not? Ambition's a beautiful thing.
They never took that on, did they? Ian, are you going to be going for any life changes here with some multiples, or are you just going to play it straight and simple?
I'm going to play it straight and simple. My main if I was going to put a bet up, would be Dean Burmaster and Kramer Hickok top 20 double around 18-1 mark. I think that's a very, very solid bet this week.
Okay, I will do that. Let's do the tip review. I might need some help here. I'm going to do my best to remember it. Steve is all right because he's in the Racing Post and I've got them written down here. So the DP Tour over in Dubai. Steve goes for Jon Rahm, Thorbjorn Olson, Martin Kaymer, Thomas Pieters and Ross Fisher. Ian goes for his main bet is Thomas Pieters, and pathetically I've forgotten the others. What are they, Ian?
Just one more, Dean Burmaster.
Dean Burmaster, that's it. Let's go to the RSM Classic in America. Steve goes Webb Simpson, CT Pan, Austin Cook, and Ian goes for CT Pan, Kramer Hickok and Kelly Craft. Is that right?
That's right.
And then in the Australian Open, this is nice and simple. Abraham Answer for Ian, and then Steve goes for a pair of Camerons, Smith and Davis, and a guy called Harrison Endicott. Okay, an epic week. Well done, lads. What does the week hold for you, Steve?
I got one of those children's parties on Saturday afternoon, which obviously is hell on earth. Don't like children's parties, but apart
Why not? Don't you bond with a couple of the dads?
I just find the average dad is a little bit browbeaten and they don't bring much to the party, quite literally.
Apart from their offspring.
Yeah. No, and obviously you've got to worry about minors getting injured and stuff. So that'll be a tough hour and a half.
Why have you got to go?
Well, I try and do my bit. I'm a pretty devoted family man. Behind all the bluster.
Good.
I'll be doing that. But apart from that, I'll just be punting seriously heavily. I've had a really good go this week. I expect this to be my last bit of punting. But when you've got 3 tournaments, you've really got to take the opportunity, haven't you?
Yeah, sure. Just give us a quick recap on last week. How did the exhibition go with Phil Taylor? Did you meet the great man?
I didn't meet the great man. I kept myself to myself. Found a quiet corner and watched action. I have got a player to follow actually. Luke Humphries. Luke Humphries is I think he's 23 years old, and he played Taylor in one of the exhibition matches and absolutely destroyed him. He almost got a 9 darter. I think Luke Humphries not a player that was on my radar, but I think he might have a big future in the game of darts.
How was Bobby George? How was his banter?
Bobby George was brilliant. Yeah, he brought his old candelabra and he set fire to the place. I got a lot of time for Bobby George, but I'm looking for the next Luke Humphries tournament, and I might well back him.
Oh, great, excellent! I thought it was Ted Hankey who had the candelabra, no?
No, Bobby George was bringing out candles. Yeah, but maybe he's stolen that one off Ted Hankey. I don't know, but no, Bobby George was the star of the night.
Excellent. And Ian, what have we got lined up? You're going to get the old clubs out? It's still quite warm, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's quite mild today. Actually, I have a day off, so I might get up for maybe to the range this afternoon. But I'll be working all week for the RSM, so mid-afternoon starts, late finishes. But I'm trying to keep a low profile myself this week, so happy enough with that.
Jolly good. Thank you, chaps. What have we got next week, Steve?
We have got the World Cup of Golf, which we had Denmark in that last year, so we're looking to get the winner of that again. And then we've got the Hong Kong Open. I think there's a ladies event as well, Spanish Open ladies.
Oh, haven't we got the shootout as well, the showdown or whatever it's called?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Tiger v Phil, that's next week, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, I'm struggling to generate much excitement for that now. But yeah, Tiger v Phil, is that on the Wednesday, Ian?
That is, I think that might be the Friday. It's the day after. I think it's the day after Thanksgiving.
One round.
Yeah, it's one round.
80-hole match. Yeah,
$7 million, isn't it? Yeah.
Pay-per-view.
Will that be an interesting betting event? Do you think, Ian?
I think so. If it depends what they're going to show it over here, because it's meant to be pay-per-view in America. And I don't think anyone's picked up the pay-per-view side here or bought the rights to show it. So it's going to be tricky to know really till we actually get in play.
I wouldn't pay for that. Would you?
No, nor me. No.
Not in a million years. Absolute nonsense. Okay, thank you very much, chaps. That's superb. Dave Clark is here tomorrow with the gang for a football postcast. On Friday, Maddie hosts the boys for a racing postcast looking ahead to next weekend. And by the way, last week, we had some incredible winners, not just on this golf postcast, but also the football and indeed the racing. So hopefully there will be plenty more winning tips coming your way. And if you can't join us for them, we would love to have you back next Wednesday for a Racing Post golf postcast.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and £1,000 up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Give 'em the hole!